Hey everybody, it's Thursday here in the West Village of Manhattan, and this is part 3 of my tribute to the late great Jeff Buckley. Okay, that's an opus entitled "No One Must Find You Here," which began as all the songs I wrote with Jeff. All 12 of them began as my solo guitar instrumentals, and that was specifically written for Jeff's voice. After a trip to Europe, a very long tour of about 9-10 weeks, I remember arriving home and Caroline not wanting to let me through the door and saying, "I don't know you, I don't recognize you," after such a long time away, or it was something like that. But anyway, that was our Kashmir, and we closed the solo, this showcase for Gods and Monsters featuring Jeff with that very number before an encore or two encores. On Friday the 13th, March 92, a red letter day to say the least, before a packed church in Brooklyn, St. Anne's Church. This concert was appearing courtesy of Susan Feldman and Janine Nichols, who ran Arts at St. Anne's. And they were fans of mine and big fans of Jeff's, because Jeff had come there under the auspices of Hal Wilner earlier that year. Well, in the year before, in the spring, when I met him in 91, spring of 91. And he was there for a tribute to his father, Tim Buckley. So they wanted us to showcase the new project that I had with Jeff, which was Gods and Monsters, with Jeff as the lead singer. So that was performed there. And anyway, the next day, Karen and I were sitting around grooving on the music, because my friend David Schnurman, who ran the board, who's on Facebook, by the way, is a great guy and a great sound engineer, had given me the DAT tape of this concert, which is kind of the holy grail to Buckley fans, the original board tape. And we were listening to it back. It was on DAT. That's how we carried everything around in those days. And Carolyn and I were dancing around this apartment saying, "My God," he sang his ass off. And we got like a 3.5 minute standing ovation at the end of 2 hours of solid music that we performed. And then the phone rang, and it was Jeff, and he said, "I really don't want to go through with this, basically. And I don't know, I just want to do my own thing," and etc. So that was disappointing, of course. But all those months later, after he went off solo, he contacted me and invited me up to his recording session at Bearsville Studios up in Woodstock. And that's where Grace and Mojo Pin got done. And he went on to release Grace in, I think it came out August of 1994 on Sony Columbia. And it made a big impact with fans everywhere, and also with the media. And anyway, so I'm here to honor the memory of my friend and collaborator, because he still stands to this day as about the finest young musician I've ever worked with in the creation of new music. And actually, I wrote him a letter in the last year of his life, expressing the fact of, my love for the collaboration, and how, in my view, a good collaboration can often be a lot more than anything the individuals might be capable of, as good as their work might be, because energies are unleashed in a collaboration, sparks fly, and often, it takes two to tango, and the result is some monumental work. To this day, I'd probably regard Grace and Mojo Pin as maybe the high point of my career so far. I'm just getting going. And, anyway, I have some more music to play, of course, but I want to get right down to some appreciations here. Eric Levine, thank you so much. Eric reached out because he was digging particularly some of my arrangements of specifically Jewish music that he knew, from albums I did on Tzaddik Records for John Zorn, and then engaged me for a private Skype lesson, which I am available for. If you're so interested, contact me here. Anyway, my Skype handle is Wyndham Lewis WYNDHAMLEWIS, lowercase. And let's make a deal. And then Jonathan Luftig came through again. Jonathan, who's been such a steadfast supporter of these concerts, and who is going to get married to his girlfriend Ling, which has a ring of familiarity if you know my history, because my first wife was also named Ling. And Charles McCardle, thank you so much for your wonderful support. And he's also been tipping me to some great music, as are many of the fans. James Montes, thank you, thank you, thank you. James wrote, and I quote, "Great job on part 2, Gary. Stay well, amigo." And lastly, Jonathan Fadem, or Fadem, pardon me if I'm mangling your name, who said, "The beauty of Dream of the Wild Horses that you played 2 days ago, that was the song I wrote for Jeff that never got finished because of Jeff's passing. The beauty of Dream of the Wild Horses that you played 2 days ago on your Facebook show was incredible, really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us. It is my total pleasure, guys. I love to play for you and to give as much as I can of myself here. I'm really enjoying it for the most part, because oftentimes in one's career as a performing artist, you're at the mercy of market forces and agents and venues and all those factors. And this way I can stream worldwide and get responses from all over the world, which I have been getting. And it's really encouraging. It's great, but it's a weird disembodied experience. I can tell you, it's like throwing the thunderbolts into the ether here and hoping people will catch up or catch them. And I guess they are. So anyway, I'm just going to keep going and do another song. Today I'm concentrating a bit on the unreleased Buckley Lucas songs. I wrote 12 great songs with Jeff. There was a 13th that we did called Deep Sex House, Haus. That was more like a spoken word thing over some guitar music of mine that never really got realized, so I'm discounting that anyway. I want to keep it Baker's an even 12 here, even dozen. So talking about that St. Anne show, we opened that show with this kind of very heavy rock anthem that Jeff called Cruel. Again, that was written on, I guess I was in Germany at that time. I had a layover in Berlin of about a week, and I was staying at the apartment of my friend Monica Daring, and she was in Brazil or someplace, and she gave me the run of her apartment for this week, so I did a lot of the writing for the project there, and I was really having a good period of creative time there. So this is, yeah. version of that was recorded about 1 week after the St. Anne show at the Knitting Factory for Nicholas Hill's Live from the Music Faucet live radio show. That's for Nick, and it was engineered by my friend Irene Trudell. These guys were big supporters of my project, and then Jeff and myself separately. And there's an album that came out that my other buddy, the late Hal Wilner, who died so tragically of COVID-19, executive produced more or less, compiled, let's say, from a lot of tapes that I have of Jeff and I developing the material and some live stuff. So there's a version of Cruel on there that features, actually you can really hear Jeff on guitar there too. We had this double guitar thing going. At St. Anne's, not so much. He was more or less content to sing with the guitar hanging around his neck. He played a little bit, but he got more actively involved. Anyway, I want to direct your attention here. Well, I got your attention to this album that came out last year in the fall, and it's the complete Jeff Buckley and Gary Lucas songbook on the Italian label Ezor Disco, and it features the Nero, Davide Combusti, a great Italian vocalist, with Francesco Arpino, who produced the record, on guitar and keyboards, and some other great musicians. And it was voted Album of the Year in Classic Rock Italia, which was great. This is coming out in early September. I've held this up before, but here we go again. The Essential Gary Lucas. Maybe it should have just been called Essential Gary Lucas. How do you say the? Do you say the Essential? The Essential? I don't know. But that's the name of it. It had another title, but it was deemed improper. So anyway, that's coming out. It's a double that covers 40 years of my music making, from Beefheart to Buckley and beyond. Over 30 plus albums I've released. And I got a whole bunch in the can, including 2 that I've done with a great mainland Chinese vocalist, Feifei Yang, and Jason Candler, who's played saxophone with me and engineered a lot of my sessions for years and years. And there's a great version of Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower on it that Feifei translated into Mandarin. So keep your eyes and ears open, but that'll be out actually on 9/11 and on the Knitting Factory label. So let's see how much time we got. We got a few minutes here. I've got another one for you. Let's see, but I have to tune to a special tuning. And I'm wearing shades, and I'm not really dressed for the occasion, am I? Today, well, it's about 88 here in New York. And, geez, I can't see with these things on. It's funny, I'm wearing shades. The first show I ever did with Captain Beefheart was in Cardiff, Wales in 1980 on a tour. And they gave me sunglasses, or Don's wife, Jan, gave me sunglasses to wear. And I was sweating profusely. It was damn hot in this club. And as I was reading one of his poems, the glasses kept moving forward on the bridge of my aquiline nose here, and just slipped off on the very last phrase of the poem to the floor, which was funny. Anyway, so I hope it doesn't happen again here. But I'm schwitzing, as they say, and I got all the windows open. It's almost time for air conditioning. I mean, I'm sure it is already in plenty of places in New York, but I'm a holdout to nature. Also, I don't think it'll sound good with the whir of that air conditioner behind me going full blast. And but we'll see what happens as the weeks develop and go on. And today I heard that they're going to go into the second phase of the second phase now in July, which means we might be able to eat in restaurants outdoors. But all this is theoretical. The next show I'm going to do this Saturday, by the way, I'm going to make a tribute to George Floyd, I'm as disturbed as anybody in the world right now at the situation, without belaboring the point, and I know Jeff would be also. And I'm going to do just a set of blues, solid blues, for George Floyd. So tune in on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. And I've almost got this thing up to tune here. One of the things that I will do in a Skype lesson is reveal some of the tricks of my trade here. Anyway, that I did for Eric Levine. So this is a song called Distortion. This was neo-punk rock, actually. Distortion. That is only available, as far as I know, officially on that album, the complete Jeff Buckley and Gary Lucas songbook. And I'm going to move over to acoustic guitar for my last number. Okay. This is my trusty Gibson J45 from 1941. And I had been using this essentially for years and years and years. And I wrote a lot of the music I gave Jeff on this guitar. The Stratocaster that I had, which went back to the Beefheart era, unfortunately I lost in a train. It's a sad story, but I did have musical instrument insurance, which I would urge all you musicians out there to get, to insure your instruments, and it paid off. And with that, I got this 66 Strat, that green monster behind me. And so this is something that I wrote and sent to Jeff right before he died. I mentioned Dream of the Wild Horses. That was something I wrote in Puerto Rico, and with Jeff's voice in my head. And he called me up in the last year of his life and said, I'm getting ready to do a second album. Do you have any music? You know, the way we used to work is I would send him guitar instrumentals, finished guitar instrumentals, and he would put a lyric and melody line to it that fit it like a glove. I said, yeah, I got this thing. So I sent him that one, and he called me back after he got it, and he said, it's beautiful, you got any more? So I sent him 2 or 3 more, and this is one of them. And the title I gave to it is A Wandering Minstrel Eye, E-Y-E. Apologies to Gilbert and Sullivan. And I gave this to Mary Conti, who's a great Italian singer, female vocalist, who came to me in London and asked for some music to work on. And there's a song that we did together called You'll See My Flame Again, which is kind of a tribute to Jeff that she co-wrote with me. So check that out. Bittersweet, like so much of my music, just like life. And that concludes my tribute to Jeff Buckley. And thanks so much for tuning in. It's really hot in New York. Here we have a little glimpse of our neighborhood. It's a little boat. I wish I was on that boat right now. Anyway, here anyway, thanking you for tuning in. Please take care of yourselves. Wear those masks. There's so many people running around the neighborhood without masks. And discourteous, to say the least. And they think they're going to live forever. But anyway, be safe, stay safe, and I'll see you on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys. Take care.